All right. All right. Hey, we're back.
Hey.
All right.
So that last one, the last stuff that you showed us, is there more than just that dandelion one? Is there other kits like that?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So they're usually every small catalog, they come out with a set. So like there was one for Christmas, and then they always have a couple in the annual catalog. So in the annual catalog, you'll find that on page like 154 and 155. And it's a 2-page spread because over here they have a special pack of cards, and I'll tell you why I don't think this is a good deal. But we can chat. And then they've got like this other Memory and More card pack. Now these small cards are not mailable, so you need to know that those aren't mailable size, which is why I was really excited about the one in our spring catalog and in our winter, because they're all mailable. They were all the large size card. They have the album, and then they have the pocket photo pages. So like it really is meant to kind of all work together. And the 2 kits for the annual catalog is this Flowers for Every Season, which I actually have, and then the World of Good, Memories and More, which has some more masculine themes. So like if you need some masculine cards in your life, this would be really smart. There's really cute like globes and compasses, and there's a lot of foiling, like brass foiling in here.
I have some of that stuff. I don't know. I'd have to go and look. Because
I think you might have the suite that goes with it.
Well, last retreat, I think Candy used that kit.
Mm-hmm. It's great. And then the Flowers for Every Season has literally, it has 4 kind of themes. So it has like spring flowers, fall, summer, and winter. And so like if you're really into flowers, it's really pretty. And it coordinates with all the new in colors. They kind of matched it with this Flowers for Every Season card pack. The problem is it's only 10 cards for $11. I just felt like that wasn't as good of a value as we've been getting in the other ones. And so this is 20 cards, but unfortunately, half of them are these tiny ones that aren't mailable. Right. So, I'm kind of dicey about that. But yeah, they're great. And they're a lot of fun to play with. And I haven't played with this one, but I have played with this one. So there's cute stickers that say like different words and like ombre print, and they're really cute. The stickers have gotten really good with these. I think it makes them really usable. So, but yeah, good question, Laura. Okay. So let's take a look. And I don't know if Anne will join us for this last one. Since she didn't get the kit, she might just be watching the recording because she's in New England and it didn't get all the way up there. So, but that's okay. She'll get it and then she'll watch the recording later. So you've got 5 card packs. This is the free class that you got, kind of the add-on bonus, whatever. And so we have this really cute black and white paper that has 2 sides. One side has a floral pattern and one side has a geometric pattern. So you could do, whatever you want with them. This is, your heart's desire. I'm going to show you how to use some of our coloring tools because this is a great opportunity to like kind of show what the purpose of all the different tools is, right? And so with this one, I'm going to get a couple of colors of ink out. I think I'm going to use Mango Melody and Granny Apple Green. I'm going to use some bright colors. And this is a chance to use our brayer. So our brayers they're sponge brayers. And they're used to add color to stuff. So you can create like ombre looks, and you can roll, ink on them. What's nice is that they wash off really easily. They don't pick up a ton of color, so you can add color kind of slowly. So I'm going to do the yellow first, and my yellow looks a little diseased, but don't mind him. Um, he's been through a lot. I think somebody, and this might be too orangey. Like I should have probably made a different color choice, but that's okay. We'll just roll with it. Mango Melody's got a lot of orange in it. So you can do whatever you want on this. Like honestly, these are yours to play with. I'm just going to show you kind of what we have and, what are some fun ways to add color to paper. All right. So now I'm going to kind of take this and just make sure that there's a bunch of extra ink. And then I'm going to take the green. I'm going to kind of flip it over. I'm going to add some green. Hopefully get a lot more green. So sponge brayers are fun. They're fun ways to add color. You can add a lot of color, just by layering it. And you're literally just going back and forth. And then I'll kind of just meet the two, in the middle. I like to kind of move my brayer back and forth so I don't get any crazy harsh lines. So you saw I kind of went a little wacky there. That's okay. And that's it for the coloring. And then what's cool is these cards all use the labels and the stamps and the ink from your kit. So that's why I said save a couple of labels, because that's what we're going to use. So that's easy. So then what I did is, this is called like the Scrappy Technique. And you see, I've just got like a bunch of cuts in here. So all I'm doing is coming in with my little paper cutter, and you might have one of 27 different paper cutters. It doesn't really matter what kinds you have. All you're going to do is just kind of cut and then cut and just make some crazy angled cuts. And of course, the less cuts you do, the less you have to glue. Just putting that out there. I mean, you don't want to do so few that you're not doing anything, but all right. So then you're going to take your piece of white and you're going to start on one side and you're going to glue them down, and then you're just going to work your way across, and you can kind of space them out just a little bit. And then as you work your way, you'll probably run out of room at the end and you'll have to, flip it over and do a little bit of trimming, but that's okay. And then you have this giant piece of foil paper that's actually behind here. I just wanted to create like a foil outline. So I use that as kind of a mat on that one. But you could literally do this however you want. Like you could just have the black and white. I think it's really cute. If you didn't want to color it, you could color these tiny little flowers. You probably don't want to individually color. Like I think that would be painful. So that's why I decided with this one, it would be probably more fun and easier if we just brayered, the color on. You could just run a marker, you could do some markers with it. You definitely have some choices, but the minute I saw that black and white paper, I got excited and wanted to do some coloring. So yeah, so all I'm doing is just leaving a little white gap between these pieces. And that will give us that. And then I just glued that down straight onto the foil. And then I glued that straight onto the card base. So I'm just trying to leave an even gap. And there'll be a little bit of extra that I need to cut off at the end. I tried to make it a little bit bigger so you had some wiggle room. But questions about that one? No? Okay, one's easy. not hard. All right, so that's one. And I'll come back and I'll finish that at some other point. It's part of the thing with teaching. I try not to complete a full card on camera, or else you guys would be pained watching me. So this one is called the spotlight technique, and this is really fun to do with a black and white paper. So I pre-punched it for you because I wasn't sure if you had a circle punch. So sorry, I made the decision for you as to what would be spotlighted. But what you'll do is you can kind of see how, this fit into this piece. So you're going to take your spotlight piece, and I included a piece of the foil so you can kind of pop it up later. But for now, we're just going to take this. And this one, I added a little bit of markering to the edge of the flower. And then I just went ahead and did just some all over like sponge coloring. So I'll show you. I grabbed, so this is like Flirty Flamingo. So these are our alcohol markers. These are fun. They provide really bright color. So you're going to get a lot of color, a lot of saturation. And on this one, I just literally added a little bit of color to the edges of the really big, pretty flowers. So I went in and I used the bullet tip. There's two tips to these. There's a brush and a bullet. And this doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to put some ink on top of it. So like you can work relatively quickly. But the spotlight technique is basically you take a piece that's black and white, and then you spotlight one piece and you color it in. You could fully color it in if you wanted, or you could kind of do what I did on this, which was sort of the cheater way to add some color without doing a lot of energy and effort. And you could literally just, get a pink marker, whatever marker you've got, and you could do this. And then what I used was a sponge dauber. Actually, I think I don't remember what I used. I think I used a sponge. So I will get us a yellow sponge. And then, so we have these really big yellow sponges, and then we have these tiny sponge daubers. They're both cool. These are the daubers. And they function a little different from one another. So I'll kind of show you the difference. Maybe we need like saffron or something, like a softer yellow. And then with these, I don't wash them, which is probably terrible, but I'll just make sure. So I like the sponge daubers because they fit on your finger. Then I don't have to work as hard. And so all I did was I just added a little bit of like the yellow on the flower and tried to keep it darker there, and then still kind of added a little bit on the other, but tried to keep it more on the flower. And that's all I did. And you could do the same thing with the big yellow sponges. I just cut them into pieces so that I get more out of them. And in this case, I've got them dedicated to a color. And so then you could just add that. I just think that the color goes on a little better with the daubers. I feel like they're, I don't know. They're easier to work, maybe because they stick on my finger. So, the foil paper is funny. It's so slick that you have to use you've got to use either like a wet glue or like a good amount of, snail. And then we're just going to glue this piece down. And then you can decide like what sentiment you like, and you can tuck it under So I'm just going to glue this down, and then I'll pop this up on dimensionals, but you want to make sure it lines up where it was, right? So like make sure that you find, so that it looks like it truly was popped up, so in this case, it's going to go right here. And then I'm going to put the sentiment behind here first before I put this up on dimensionals. But you literally want this to look like it was just, popped out and has a bunch of color on it. So you can color it how you want. I could add, there's no greenery on this one, but I think on this one, I added like a touch of like green to these stems. And everybody's piece will look different because this paper was really varied. Like I was surprised at how different everybody's looked when I punched your circle out. So, yep. And then again, we just got that cute tag from the other one with a sentiment. I felt like it was, there were so many extra pieces. Lindsay, that other kit has a ton of extra pieces. So there's like a bunch of these tag pieces left over that you can stamp on and use. And even if you make mistakes, like Anne, no big deal, right? Plenty of room for error. So the next one is Flirty Flamingo, which is fun. And this one's fun. You've got 3 pieces. I don't think I cut yours apart because you really don't want them apart. And I actually am going to try to cheat and had like a scrap that didn't quite fit. And so I'm going to try to like see if I could cheat this and make it look like it was all one piece. You want it one piece so that it's easier to color. If it's separate, it's going to be a pain to do this. And I'm going to use my sponge dauber again, which is probably still my favorite coloring tool. I'll use some Flirty Flamingo, and I will use some, I think I use Green Apple Green, but we're going to flip this bad boy over and make sure that this is the right green. Nope, that looks too bright. Nope. I'm like, nope. It is not the green I used. What green did I use? Maybe pear. It might have been pear pizzazz. No, definitely not. All right, Anne, what color do you think that is? Anne's my expert. Green did I use?
Maybe
just
jade?
Jade? Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm like, did I use just jade? Maybe. Let's find out. It's not a typical green choice for me, but oh, that's dark. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I just was, lightly did it. And we'll do it light for sure. Okay. All right. So with this one, again, I just added, I'm going to get the green off of there. But I just added a little bit of color, and I focused more on the centers of the flowers, right? And less on the edges. So just, brought some pink in and, focused on the middle and then kind of went out. And you see, I just do little circles and then, go circle and out. Maybe I'll make that one a little pink there. And then, so not trying to, I'm not trying to make this perfect. If I go outside the boundary of the flower, it's okay. No one's gonna, call me into the coloring police or anything. But I think sometimes when people see like black and white paper and they see coloring, they think they're gonna have to like hand color like every single piece, and people who don't like coloring kind of panic. And so I wanted to show that there's ways that you can add color where you don't have to like, literally color every single piece. So we've got some nice pink flowers. That is not going to go well. So I'm going to have to like kind of say I'm cheating. Okay, that'll go a little bit better. No one will know that those don't go together. And then I'm going to take my pink off, and just by rubbing it off on the scrap piece of paper, and then we'll add some green to I would say for the green, There's no way that's shaded spruce. I don't know what green I used, y'all.
How
That's a
about old
messy.
olive?
No, old olive's not the right color.
Yeah.
That I don't think is the case, but I don't know. I mean, the other garden green, like it's definitely not garden green. Well, maybe.
You're running out of greens, maybe.
I know. We have a lot of greens, y'all. We're never for a want for green. Let's try garden green and see. Yeah, maybe garden green. Not my first green choice, but and you'll see I'm not adding a lot, right? Like I'm just kind of like, stamping off a bit and kind of adding like a hint of green. So it's not much, we don't need I don't need leaves. I want the focus to be on the flowers, right? So and I'm kind of just going in an outward stroke for the leaves. There you go. Yeah. Garden green. Good to know. And then I put some rhinestones in your kit, or one of you, I think, got some of these faceted gems. But I felt like this one needed a little bit of bling. And so we'll just, lay these panels down with some glue. Make sure you kind of get them, spaced out the way you want to have them spaced out. And then you can put your label on them. So easy, hopefully easy card. And then
It's pretty. I like those colors.
yeah, I do too. And this one's kind of got some of the same, color going on. So this one, you are going to color. So the reason you got kind of a weird piece of paper is because you're going to cut out a couple of the flowers. And so this is, probably, a little more detail oriented than the other ones, because you're going to cut them out. If you don't have a full flower, you can always like cover and overlap them. So in my case, I don't have any full flowers. I think they're all partials. So I'll have to be really creative about how I cut these out. But in terms of the coloring, we'll use some Flirty Flamingo. If you have Poppy Parade, I used a little bit of Poppy Parade in the middle, not the dark though, the light. And then I think I ended up using Just Jade for my leaves because I feel like Just Jade and Flirty Flamingo are really good friends. So the way that I color mine is, everybody's different. I like to add the dark pieces in first. So I'll kind of come in and I'll do some of the veining maybe on the leaves in the dark marker. And definitely down here where there's a shadow. And then I'll come in with my lighter marker. And you might have Copics or something else. If you have an alcohol marker, you can blend and add color really easy. It's different than our Stampin' Write markers. And then I did just a little bit of the Poppy Parade in the middle of these. I just wanted them to have a really dark center, and I felt like Poppy Parade was but I still wanted them to be in the same family color. You could do whatever you want. The world's your oyster. And then the same thing for the veining on these. I came through with the dark marker and kind of, marked the veins. And even if my veins don't match up exactly how theirs do, it's okay. As long as I'm kind of. And then what I found was when I put the light Flirty Flamingo on top of it, it really kind of blew out the veins some. Like it was, you weren't able to see them as much. And so I came back and added a little bit more once I had colored them. And so then I was like, oh, I want more. So then I kind of came back and carefully kind of made sure to mark, a few more of these pieces that I really wanted to stand out, including the um, sort of like what I would call like the top vein or the fold here, So like I might add a little bit more there, and a little bit more there, so that you can see how the flower folds out. And then once you've got a couple of flowers, that you like, then you can kind of stack them on top of each other. And then I included the little vellum doily that is just glued down with some adhesive. Like I know I'm going to put it, right about here. So I just went ahead and put a little bit of snail right there just to hold it down. There's really no easy way to glue these guys down unless you use like a fine tip glue pen or something crazy like that. And then again, I made the sentiment kind of line up with the edge so that, and yes, my leaf goes off, but it still fits in the envelope. I made sure. So I think our envelopes have a little bit more wiggle. And so I don't think I have to trim my leaf. Oh, I might have to though. Oh no, look at that. No, I don't want to trim my leaf. Sadness. All right. Well, goodbye, leaf. No. I think I've got a little bit hanging over here too. I could probably trim off. So, see if trimming this little piece helps first. Yeah, it might help. I don't want to trim my leaf. Questions about that? Coloring? Nope. Easy peasy. All right, and then the last one's a cool one. This is like a fun fold, and it's a fun way to use up your DSP. So like if you're looking like you've got some like, pretty paper and you want to use it up and it's not even colored paper, this is a really fun fold. So this is a 12 by 4. So it's 12 long and 4 wide. So you can get 3 out of a 12 by 12, which is really nice. It's economical. And you're going to score it at, and I will put this on the directions, but I'll get my measurement out because I forget my scoring points on this one every time. I always have to have like a sample of this or else I'll never remember where I scored it at. So you'll score it at 2.5 and 7 3/4 and 11. So 2.5, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. So 2.5, 7 3/4 and 11. Okay. I'll write that in better marker so you can see that. 2.5, 7 3/4 and 11. And then all it takes is a back panel. So this is just a 1/4 sheet of our cardstock. So this is just 4 1/4 by 5. And then depending on how patterned your inside is, you probably will need like a little inside piece. And I'm on centimeters, which is really useful today, guys. So this is 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside piece. So inside is 3 3/4 by 5. And the outside is a standard 4 1/4 by 5.5. Okay. So then you're just going to, there's this 1-inch tab and you're going to fold it back. And this is going to then make your card. So you're going to glue this down to the outside piece. And then this will be the inside where you write your sentiment, which is really nice. Now on this one, in the sample, I did a lot of coloring and I used watercolor pencils because I think they're fun, but it's a lot of coloring. And so if that isn't your thing, then don't do it. You could keep it black and white. The other option is that you could change your flip. So you could color this part. And then you have a really cute pattern piece. You could have a little tiny strip of coloring, and then you could do the white on the inside. So let's do that one on this one. We'll just color the strip with our watercolor pencils. So we have 2 packs of watercolor pencils, and they don't come packed like this. This is like an insert that someone had made, but it shows me like all of our colors. So basically, there was an early set that came out, and then there was a smaller set that came out later. The later set is more bright and bold. I think the original set was probably more classic, you know. Watercolor pencils are fun. How many of you guys have played with watercolor pencils? And you have? Lindsay, you have? Laura, have you played with watercolor pencils before? They're fun. They're really easy. So I like to use the really bright set, the second set. It's a little bit cheaper. You want your watercolor pencils to be kind of dull. You don't want them to be super sharp. So like I don't sharpen them often. And I do have a really like kind of high grade. I mean, it's not super expensive, but it's a good pencil sharpener. You don't want to use like your kids' pencil sharpener on these. And I'm not going to sharpen it very much. I'm just going to sharpen it enough that I can like get to the color. So I kind of, take a couple turns and I'll go, okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe, one more turn or something. And so, all right, good. So that's enough of this for me to work with, because you want a really dull side so that you can lay down color. So I'm going to make this big flower purple. So what's cool about watercolor pencils is that you can work kind of messy, which I guess you guys now have seen the theme of my life is like fast and messy. And then you can take a paintbrush like water, or we have these blender pens that are really nice, and they have a sucralose thing in them. And you can take, I'm going to get really close to the camera so you can see, and I'm going to hold still hopefully so it can focus. Good. And you're just going to take them and you're going to pull the color. And so you can literally like paint these. And unfortunately, because I'm shaking, like it's not gonna, but when I stop all my shaking, hopefully you can see. And so then you have a really pretty flower that took, less effort than it would if you were using matte pencils or something else, So I really like our watercolor pencils. They're good quality. The blender pens are really great. Like if you have watercolor pencils at home and you don't have one of these blender pens, they're super not messy. Like it's really nice. They never, like I had a set probably for 5 years and like it never ran out of juice. Like the sucralose stuff in here really lasts a long time. And it makes all those like paint by number books and all of the little, I don't know, like all those things that kids do really great. So I'm going to add a little bit more color and so then I'll just pick a couple of different colors, to kind of color this piece in, but I'll make sure that like this is pretty, well colored. I want lots of pink and maybe I'll get some yellow in here too and make those are going to be pink for sure. So there's a lot of different flowers on this sheet, like a lot. And, you can have, whatever color combination works for you. This was just probably one of the most detailed pieces, I think, to color. And I think that, I don't know that I would do this again. Like that was a lot of coloring. Questions?
I was thinking the another thing that's fun about the blender pens is you can take the ink like use an ink pad or squish the ink pad and use that so you kind of can have a marker of every color that you have an ink pad of. But I was wondering, so it sounds like you know what's inside the blender pen. Could you do ink to stamp with a blender pen?
Probably not, because it doesn't retain enough color.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
You know, like I feel like the blender pen, I don't know. I don't use it. So the other way I use it frequently is if I have a cute image, like a flower image. This is probably not a good example, but it'll it'll showcase the technique at least. The other way I like to use it, finding a scrap. I don't want to use that scrap. Hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. The other way I use the blender pen is if I stamp an image and I want to color the inside of it. You know, this is not a good choice, but I could take my blender pen and I could, you know, pull that color in or out, right? So like it'll help you like fill an empty image. Like if I was to stamp the butterfly, I could like, you know, draw that color from the edges in. Actually, it's doing a good job with that right there. So, so it is a way to draw color out of like lined images. I don't know that you could do, I don't think it would function quite like the marker.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I don't think it holds enough ink, you know?
The other thing you can use to do what you just did there is you can use Winkostella to do that.
Oh, well, yeah. Because, you know, Wink of Stella's. So you can actually use Wink of Stella with watercolors, which is interesting. So basically, I can use this to blend the color as well. But the added benefit is that you get a bunch of sparkles. So, you know, for all of the ladies who like the sparkles. So I like glitter, but I don't like the remnants of glitter. But if you do this, you get like a sparkle tone to it. And I actually probably need to squeeze mine a little bit. Oh, here we go. Ah, oh God. Well, there we go. There's a lot of sparkle in that one. Sparkle bright, my friend. All right. But it functions the same way. You're right, Anne, because it's got like you know, a liquid on the inside.
It's so
So
funny.
you
Some
can,
people just put sparkle on everything.
yeah, that's so funny. I'm definitely probably a little more of a plain stamper,
Same here.
but I like Micastella. Like it's pretty, and it can be really cool to function as like you know, a watercolor, a blender pen, basically. You know. So this one might not be your jam in terms of like coloring. This one you might go like, okay, Melissa, no way, not doing it. And that's okay. Um, you know, I would say I did one. I thought it was nice. I thought it was pretty. I'm not sure I would do another one. This is a pretty detailed, you know, piece of DSP. It's pretty busy, you know. But if we can get just this one piece done, then I think we'll have some, you know, we can use the flap on that. So, which is easy.
And if you're really good about keeping your head straight ahead while you're looking down and coloring, you can do that while you're on Zoom meetings. Don't ask me how I know.
I wish I was that good. There is no way. My boss would definitely know if I wasn't paying attention on that. So you want to say hi? Hello, hello. So this is Anne and Laura. And then Lindsay, I think you've met her once before at a Girl Scout thing. Her daughter's a Girl Scout. So hello. Is that what we're wearing for Girl Scout cookie-ing?
Yeah.
Is it warm enough?
It's gonna be 70s.
Oh, okay. All right. Just checking.
60s, 70s, and it's gonna be moist outside. So.
Moist. That sounds fun. What every mom wants to hear as she endeavors out on a Girl Scout trip. So, all right. So once we've got this, so you don't have to tape this section back, but I did. I found that it was easier to build the card if I just taped it back. And then remember I said we were going to use a little bit of that twine on something, and this is the card we're using that twine on. So what I'll do is I'll put some glue back here. And you want to make sure you glue this pretty well to your card base, whatever it may be. But this is a really fun way if you like both sides of a designer series paper and you don't want the other side to get lost, like I know sometimes we want to show off both sides because we're like, they're both so pretty. Then this is a fun way to be able to do that. And then we'll put the white piece on the inside so we have somewhere to write because, heaven forbid a card that doesn't have enough room to write. And it ends up being, a really sturdy card because of all the cardstock that you put on it, So if you didn't have the cardstock, it would be kind of a flimsy card. DSP is not really, made to build card bases out of. But, if you've if you've added the cardstock on both the front and the back, then it's really nice. And then all I did was I wrapped a piece of the metallic twine from that first kit around and I tied a little bow. That's tricky. I'm just warning you, Laura. It could be that you just add a bow here. I'll give you some warning. That was not the easiest step in the world. And then I put the little piece on here with some dimensionals, just a sweet card. So I think this is a nice like anniversary card or something. The flowers are pretty. So if I was going to do this again, which I will, but it was not the easiest, partly because DSP is kind of flimsy, right? And so and then this stuff is so weird and kind of kinky that would not be, it's not super duper recommended, but I tied a knot and then I tied a bow.
Could you tape it down and then tie the bow onto that?
Yes, you could. The only problem is that you would have to tape it behind here, right? Behind where you're going to put the sentiment, because you're going to see the back. Normally that's what I would do, right? I would just tape it, behind the DSP. But in this card, because you've got, because you're going to see both the back and the front, it's a little bit harder. And you really do need two hands and, if I had a little friend here, hey, Marianne, come bring your finger. This is what my mother would make me do. Come here, bring me your finger. You're fine. All right, there you go. Thank you. Oh, that makes life easier. All right, and boop, there we go.
You do that for me all the time.
Yes, find a friend.
Or do your toe if you're flexible.
Or do your toe, as my child said. And because, that seems like it's a reasonable thing for the rest of us. So yeah, you definitely need someone to help you out with that. And then you can tie a bow, but I would say tie a knot and then tie a bow because there's no way that's going to happen. Lindsay, you missed it, but in the first hour, we decided that we're not the boss of this metallic twine. The metallic twine is the boss of us. And you don't really get to tell it what to do, which is quite funny. All right, so that's not bad. And that's got a lot of glitz because of that Wink Stella. Look at that. That's shiny. But looks cute. And that's less coloring. So I like that than having to color the entire front panel because that feels extreme. But see how I tied my bow upside down? But you see how I don't care? It's okay. Perfectly fine. And then I probably would use a glue dot to glue that bow down just a little bit. I would tuck a glue dot up and under there. So you got some glue dots in your kit. And I would say, kind of move the bow aside, put a glue dot down. And then you can kind of pop the white off of those. Those glue dots are a little different, the one in the kit, than what we're used to in the catalog. But yeah, then that'll kind of help it stay and it won't flop around as much, So cool. Other questions, comments, ideas? So lots of ways to color but not have to color, right? And easy ways to add some color, where you don't have to, put, 7 pounds of color, on, but maybe just a little bit of color. So we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3. I always like the spotlight technique. I think that one's really fun. And also gives you an excuse not to have to color the entire thing. And then brayers. And I think you might have missed the brayers at the beginning, but we just added we added some brayer color. And then we just, cut it on an angle and laid it down.
Cool.
And that one's really easy. So
I'll go back and watch.
yeah, it's super easy. So I'm going to make sure that these upload. I have to upload to the cloud and then I have to download them, but I'll definitely, and probably by the time you get the kit in, then you'll be ready to go. So, and then I'll put some measurements for this one. Really nothing else is complicated measurement wise. Like I don't really feel like this is probably the one that you would want to replicate and you might want to, make a whole bunch of if you've got some 12 by 12 paper that you're trying to get rid of, which I don't know what you're talking about. I don't hoard 12 by 12 sheets of paper. No, not me. I'm going to have like a stock sale or something. I don't know. We're going to garage sale it this spring. Hardcore, man. Like, cause it's just so pretty and I don't want to cut it. I only hoard certain pieces from each pack, if that makes you feel better. So not whole packs of paper.
What?
Except for
Not
the
whole
coffee.
packs of paper?
Just the coffee paper. That's the only full pack of paper I have that I hoarded an entire pack of. I was like, hey, I'm obsessed with coffee. So.
Oh, you're singing my song. Spotlight technique, did you back that? Or is it just that there's shadow behind it?
Yep. I backed it with a piece of foil.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so I find that with the spotlight technique, if you do that, it really really brings it out. And so, and it also kind of allowed us to not have to color as much, but yet gave us still enough pop.
Okay.
And I used, there's a foil pack in the spring catalog and that's the foil paper I used. It's with the Valentine's Day stuff. But if you like the foil, it's interesting because it gives you 3 different colors of foil. It's this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, number 3. Love You Always foil sheets. It has 6 sheets, 2 of each color, and they're 12 by 12. There's Blushing Bride, Rococo Rose, and Sahara Sand. So you get 3 different colors of foil paper, which I think is really nice. And so I used the Rococo Rose for this one. And then I think for this one, I use the Blushing Bride. I didn't use the Sahara Sand on any of these, but I thought the foil was a nice added touch and it kind of went with the foiling on the labels because I wanted to kind of bring that foiling out. So,
Beautiful.
So yeah, good questions. Any other questions? You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks for taking the class. You will have made a ton of cards as you progress. And it's nice to have a stock of cards. Like I know I've been sending more cards than ever before just because we're not seeing people in person. And so it's nice to be able to send cards. And I think this has a good, like I liked this stamp set because it has a wide range of sentiments and ones that really work, for, where we're at right now. So, thanks y'all. I appreciate it. So
Thank you.
Lindsay,
Thank you.
I'll drop those punches off for you, Lindsay, so you can use those. Okay.
Thank you.
And then let me know, message me if you've got any questions or anything. And I'll make sure to upload the last set of pictures for you and some measurements. And let me know if you need anything. So
Perfect.
Great
all
stuff.
right. Happy Super Bowl weekend. Bye,
Thank you.
Let me know
y'all.
if my tracking changes. I'm hoping Monday.
Yeah, I'm hoping Monday too. I looked at it. So Laura's was tracking to be there on Saturday, but then hers showed up yesterday. And so I got kind of excited. I was like, ooh, I wonder if Anne's will show up today. So it might show up today. You never
It could.
know. But if it doesn't show up by Monday, then we'll definitely start it. We'll start tracking it and see. But I'm happy to cut another pack. No big deal. So.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, I just, literally, I got a friend's Christmas card that she had mailed December the 15th. I got it January 6th, I think it was,
Oh
and
my
that was from
gosh.
New Jersey to Massachusetts. Like it's an 8-hour drive, not even.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a friend sent me a package. It came wrapped in Christmas paper. Yeah. And I didn't get it till like January 5th or 6th or something. I was like, hey, thanks for the Christmas present. In 2021, appreciate it.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been wild. And I feel like unless I do priority, it doesn't. And even with priority, we sent stuff, and actually that was sent priority, which that was really frustrating because someone paid a lot of money to send that, and they say it'll get there in 2 to 3 days and then it doesn't. So she's in Virginia, and I feel like she also has some sort of mail vortex going on over there. So,
I
but,
had a priority from a friend in California, went through San Francisco, went to Hawaii, and then came back again, and then finally made it to Massachusetts. I was like, well, did it pick me up any pineapples on the way? Just,
seriously, that's
and
crazy.
but they don't even take responsibility for it. It's like, yeah, oh, well, like
No.
what?
Yeah. It is very much like, yeah, they've just kind of like raised their hands and said, well, not, oh, well, be lucky you got your package at all. Right. Because there's definitely ones that have gone missing. And that's the worst. Like if you send something, and then it goes missing, like especially a gift or something like that. So,
Absolutely.
but well, thank you. And thanks for coming, y'all. And thanks for taking a chance. And, I appreciate it, Lindsay. I hope that this is fun and lots of card making. I can't wait to see what Julia makes too. So, I'm sure she'll get her hands in there, right?
She has Valentine cards she needs to make, so we'll sit down on an afternoon and craft together.
That'll be awesome. That'll be really great. Yeah, since we're doing virtual schooling, I don't know that that's going to happen this year. Like, I don't really know what that looks like. So we were kind of discussing it. And Marion's like, but I can't make my box. And then she's like, maybe we can do Valentine's in the neighborhood. And I was like, maybe we can work something out. So maybe we'll figure out a way to do something fun here for that. So, but all right, y'all. Thank you so much. And hope you have a lot of fun crafting this weekend, and definitely share what you make. I love to see, even if it's just like, I finished the kit. Yay. Like share that, because that's success. I don't want any of this to sit around, and I don't want it to not get done. So that's my goal, is that you're productive and making cards and sending cards. So,
Thank you.
all right. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.